General Hospital July 15th to 16th recap. Twists, blackmail, and heartbreak. Port Charles is on fire, figuratively and literally. Tracy blackmails Nina into turning on Sonny using her affair with Drew, while Michael delays Willow's custody hearing, driving her deeper into Drew's manipulative grasp. Sasha shocks Nina with news she's fleeing town with baby Daisy for safety, thanks to threats tied to Sonny's enemies. Meanwhile, Jason holds Marco hostage, but a failed escape leaves him bound and gagged. Sonny corners Sidwell, demanding he end his political attacks or lose his son forever. As Lucas begs for Marco's life, Carly confronts Sonny, who won't budge. On the horizon, Liesl Albrecht returns, ready to help Nina take down Drew once and for all. Plus, rumors swirl that Monica's long-lost sister may shake up the Quartermain soon. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital Tuesday, July 15th recap. Tracy uses sleeping with Drew against Nina. Marco's escape goes wrong. General Hospital spoilers recap for Tuesday, July 15th, reveals that Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, used Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, passion against her while Marco Rios, Adrian Anchondo. Escape went wrong. At GH, Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, had a confrontation with Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, who ultimately revealed that the visitation hearing had been pushed back because of her actions at the pool. Willow reeled over the news that it was now happening in October and lashed out at Sasha Gilmore Corbin, Sophia Matson, for not speaking up against Michael. When it was time for Daisy Gilmore's, Levi Clark Coughlin, checkup, Willow heard something about an international trip. Although Willow worried Michael was planning to her children out of the country, he snapped that he wasn't. After Daisy's checkup was over, Michael shared a sweet moment with Sasha and admitted he was going to miss both of them. At the Quartermain mansion, Tracy had tea with Nina after summoning her for proposition. Tracy wanted Nina to use her media connections to sway the vote on Measure C and drove Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, out of town. Nina acted like she'd need some incentive to consider it and suggested Tracy could convince Michael to grant Willow access to the kids. Tracy decided they'd have to do this the hard way, so she said she'd tell Willow about Nina sleeping with Drew behind her back if Nina didn't cooperate. Nina surrendered in the end, but she muttered to herself about not forgetting this and said Tracy messed with the wrong bitch. Afterward, Nina stuck around to see Sasha and the baby, so Sasha was glad since this gave her a chance to say goodbye. Nina was shocked to hear that Sasha was leaving Port Charles with Daisy. Later, Michael caught up with Tracy, who was stunned to learn he was losing his daughter since Daisy needed to be safely out of town. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, put a guard in charge of watching Marco and warned him not to let their hostage out. The guard goofed by letting Marco trick him into thinking he needed food because of his diabetes. Once the door was opened, Marco smashed a chair on the guard and tried to escape. At the church, Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, put Sonny through an interrogation over Marco, but Sonny suggested he should be asking how to get his son home in one piece. Sidwell argued that the pub fire was Selena Wu's Lydia Look fault, but Sonny didn't buy it and insisted Marco's situation was happening because of Sidwell. If Sidwell wanted to get Marco out of trouble, Sonny expected him to pull funding for Measure C, stop all the political campaigns against him, and shut down these media attacks. Once Lucas showed up at the church and found Jason, he pushed for Marco answers. Jason stonewalled Lucas, who lashed out at him as a result. After Sonny emerged from the church, Lucas tossed some threats around that didn't bother Sonny at all. Sonny simply told Lucas to do what he had to do and sauntered off. Lucas joined Sidwell inside, so Sidwell pushed for his help getting through to Sonny. However, Lucas argued that he'd already tried and insisted Sidwell would have to be the one to save Marco. Once Jason returned to the warehouse where Marco was being held, the guard looked a little roughed up. Jason asked what happened, but the guard said it was nothing he couldn't handle. Back with Marco, he was now bound and gagged inside the room he was trapped in, so his escape attempt obviously failed. As for Drew, he visited Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, and sought her help. When it became clear that a compromise wasn't going to happen, Drew warned that he'd go on the attack against Michael. When Drew joined Willow at the hospital, she was in a panic over the visitation hearing being delayed until October. Drew hugged Willow and assured her that they would soon have everything they needed to take the kids away from Michael for good. General Hospital spoilers say Drew will play dirty against Michael, so stay tuned for updates on all the power plays to come. Next update. Here's why it's time for Gio to dial his anger down on General Hospital. Will Gio get over his anger and try to forgive? Gio has every right to be angry on General Hospital because his entire life was built on a lie. But it may be time to stop reacting so quickly and start listening. Take a breath. Giovanni Mazza, discovered who his biological parents were in the most unfortunate way. Overhearing Lulu, Alexa Havens confronting Lois, Rena Sofer, about the truth was heartbreaking to watch. He was devastated, and who can blame him? The whole world was lying to him, including the only mother he ever knew. Some time has passed since the news exploded at the nurses' ball, but Gio is angrier than ever. He has moved in with Emma, Braden Bruner, and Anna, Finola Hughes, and will not speak to most of the Quartermaines, including Brooklyn, Amanda Seton, and Dante, Dominic Zamprogna. His anger is understandable, but it may be time to take a breath and hear them out. Brooklyn was a teenager when she was pregnant and believed she was giving her child a better life by putting him up for adoption. The news is a shock, but she wasn't being hurtful, and he was not unwanted. She thought she was doing what was best. As for Dante, he didn't even know she was pregnant. Yes, he was a total jerk to Gio before he knew the truth, but allow him to apologize and maybe begin to build a relationship. Fork in the road. Gio is at an impasse. He can accept what has happened and try to move on, or he can let it ruin his life. He claims he will never play the violin again. That would be him punishing himself. He is extremely talented, and it has always been something he enjoys. It would be tragic to lose that. He is now bonding with Lulu. He is angry at Brooklyn and Dante, but not Lulu. She is the one who told his secret without permission and hurt him. Is this his way of punishing his bio parents? Some fans have predicted that his anger will push him in a similar direction as Jason, Steve Burton, all those years ago, and he will work for his grandpa Sonny, Maurice Bernard. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Do you think it's time for Gio to dial down his anger and attempt to forgive his parents? Let us know in the comments section. Next update, Tracy blackmails Nina, and Sonny gives Sidwell orders in exchange for Marco's freedom. Today on General Hospital, Sasha and Daisy prepare to say goodbye to Nina. Drew warns Carly that Michael will lose everything, and Sidwell begs for Lucas' help. In the Quartermaine sunroom, Tracy meets with Nina for afternoon tea. Nina is surprised she called her, as they aren't friends. Tracy has a proposition for her that will benefit both of them. Tracy explains she doesn't want Gio to grow any closer to Sonny than he already is, as Sonny's family often gets harmed because of his work. Tracy wants Nina to use her media connections to convince the people to vote yes on Measure C. Nina says that at his core, Sonny is a good man, and forcing him to leave town could result in someone worse taking his place. Tracy doesn't care, as all she's concerned about is Joe's safety, listing off what's happened to Christina, Michael, and poor Morgan. Tracy knows Nina cared about Sonny once, but reminds her that her grandchildren are also connected to Sonny, so she would think Nina would want him gone for their safety. To go against Sonny, Nina says she needs an incentive. She says if Tracy convinces Michael to let Willow see her children, she might agree to her plan. Tracy tells her that she's misread her generosity and thought she could extort a favor from her. So now they will do this the hard way. Tracy tells Nina that either she speaks out against Sonny, or she'll tell Willow that she slept with Drew behind her back. Nina asks where Tracy would get an idea like that. Tracy says from the PI Ned hired, who taped Cody's drunken outburst at the Brown Dog, exposing their affair. Nina says Drew and Willow were a couple when and it was brief and meant nothing. Tracy laughs that she sounds like every cheating spouse that ever lived. So, what will it be? Will she protect Sonny, or her relationship with Willow? Nina notes Tracy's been at war with Drew for months, so why hasn't she used this against him? Tracy felt it would be better used against her, and they will sell a story that Nina realized how dangerous Sonny was, and that is why she left him. If she doesn't play ball, she loses Willow. Nina says she'll do what Tracy wants and storms out, but says to herself, "I won't forget this, Tracy. You just messed with the wrong bitch." Michael moves against Willow. At the hospital, Willow says hello to Michael and Sasha. She sees Daisy and assumes they are there for a checkup. She asks Michael how her children are doing. Michael says Amelia is fine, but Wiley is upset and confused thanks to her. Willow says they are her children and don't need to be protected from her and warns Sasha it's only a matter of time before Michael tries to separate her from Daisy. Michael becomes angry and tells Willow she is the one who upset Wiley and she is the one who broke the rules. Wiley's tears were a reminder that she can't be trusted with him and Amelia. He has had Diane contact the court, and the visitation hearing has been rescheduled for October. Willow cries he can't do this, as another 3 months is an eternity. Michael suggests she use the time to get her life in order and leave Drew. She refuses to leave Drew and asks Sasha how she can let Michael do this to her. They were once friends, so why isn't she speaking up as someone who has lost a child? Deanna interrupts and tells Sasha that she is ready for them and hears they are taking an international trip. Willow tells Michael he better not be taking her children out of the country. Michael says he's not. Michael and Sasha have Daisy checked out, and she's cleared for travel. Sasha wishes it didn't have to be this way, and she would have loved for Michael to be part of his daughter's life. Michael knows this is the right decision, and whoever is targeting Daisy is likely doing so because of him and his father. He cries that he will miss Daisy, and he'll miss her. Where is Marco? In Marco's empty room at the Metro Court, Lucas worries to Carly that Sonny has taken him. Carly says he's jumping to conclusions, but he says this is why he asked her to talk to Sonny. Carly says she did, and he warned her to stay out of it. Lucas says he'll go to the church to see if he's there, but they both know that's a long shot. Drew makes a threat. Carly heads home and leaves a message with Sonny about Lucas and his concerns about Marco. Drew then shows up at her door, and she tells him she doesn't want to deal with him today. Drew suggests she hear him out, as this is the last chance to save her grandchildren. Drew wants her to talk to Michael about letting Willow see her kids. Carly says there is a visitation hearing in a few weeks. Maybe Willow can prove she deserves to see her children then. Drew won't wait weeks, so either she convinces Michael to let Willow see her kids, or things will get ugly. Drew says he is willing to do whatever he can to help Willow see her children. Carly reminds him that he can leave her, as Michael will let Willow see the kids when he's not part of the situation. Drew insists that's not happening. Carly says Willow has proven over and over again that being with him seems to be more important than being with her own kids. Drew warns Carly that if Michael doesn't reconsider his position, then he'll have to go on the attack. Carly tells him that she's not impressed by his chest thumping, unlike Willow. Drew warns her that Michael's unwillingness to compromise will cost him everything. Drew walks off. Marco's locked up. At the warehouse, Marco screams from the room he's locked up in and says Sonny is making a mistake, and if something happens to him, his father will be out for blood. Jason tells an associate outside Marco's room that he's being annoying, but this place is well secluded, so let him scream. Jason has to leave, but orders the other man not to leave this door, and not to let Marco out. What does Sonny want from Sidwell? At the church, Sidwell asks Sonny what he's done with Marco. Sonny says he should be asking, "How do I get my son home in one piece?" Sidwell says if this is retaliation for the fire at his daughter's bar, well, his sources tell him Selena Wu was behind that. Sonny accuses him of framing her to retaliate against him for not selling his peers. He doesn't like involving kids, but his daughter almost died, so that makes his son fair game. Sonny says if Marco is in danger, it's not because of him, but because of Sidwell. Sidwell reminds Sonny that Marco saved Christina from that fire. Sonny tells Sidwell that he got his son into this, so get him out. He orders Sidwell to clean up this political mess and then get the hell out of his way. Sidwell rants that Sonny has alienated Port Charles, and that's why he will lose his peers. Sonny warns Sidwell that if he doesn't figure out something to do, then he'll never see his son again. Sonny orders him to pull his funding for Measure C, to stop Ezra Boyle and Drew Kane's campaigns against him, and stop the media attacks on him and Laura. Sidwell claims he has no control over what the media reports. Sonny suggests he figure out how to do it then, as both he and Marco are counting on him coming through. Lucas demands answers. Lucas arrives outside the church and confronts Jason, who is standing guard at the door. He asks if Marco is in there, but Jason says no, and that Sonny is talking with Sidwell. Lucas assumes Sonny is in there, telling Sidwell that he's taken Marco. Lucas begs Jason to tell him the truth. Is Marco going to die, or is he already dead? Jason says he can't have this conversation with him. Lucas cries that it's not right to drag innocent people into this war. Jason says Sidwell did that by going after Christina. Lucas asks when this ends. What if Sidwell goes after Avery, Donna, or Danny? Lucas says for all their talk of honor, innocent blood will be on his hands, and he and Sonny will be no better than Sidwell. Sonny walks out at that point and faces Lucas. Lucas begs Sonny not to do this, and not to hurt Marco. He warns Sonny that if Marco doesn't show up alive, then he'll tell the police about his deal with Natalia and his plans to relocate her out of the country. Sonny says he won't tell them anything they don't know, so Lucas threatens to go to Drew. Sonny tells Lucas to do what he needs to. Left alone in the church, Sidwell looks at Natalia's portrait. Lucas walks in, and Sidwell tells him that Sonny has Marco, and he needs to intervene and save his son. Outside, Sonny informs Jason that Sidwell got the message and knows what he needs to do. Jason says Marco is safe and secure, but has no idea where he is. Back at the warehouse, Marco spots a chair and begins to holler that he has diabetes and needs something to eat for his blood sugar. The guard puts on a mask, grabs his gun, and opens the door. Marco hits him over the head with the chair when he enters. In the show's final moments, Sonny arrives at Carly's, having gotten her message. She tells him about Lucas' fears and asks where Marco is. Sonny informs her that it is none of her business. She begs him to rethink this, as more people will only end up hurt in the end. At the church, Lucas informs Sidwell that Sonny and Lucas won't listen to him. He doesn't have the ability to fix this, so whatever Sonny wants from Sidwell that he should give it to him. He says setting fire to Charlie's put a target on Marco's back. Sidwell accuses Lucas of taking Sonny's side, and that Sonny is the one who killed Natalia. Lucas says he is on Marco's side, and his life is in Sidwell's hands. Lucas storms out. Jason arrives at the warehouse and asks his associate, who has been beaten up, what happened. The man says it was nothing he couldn't handle. We see that Marco is now tied to the chair and gagged. Sasha and Daisy find Nina waiting in the Quartermain kitchen. She asks what brings her by. Nina explains she had a meeting with Tracy and thought she'd stick around to say hello. Sasha is glad she did, as she has to say goodbye as she and Daisy are leaving Port Charles. Michael talks with Tracy in the sunroom. He says Yuri said she was looking for him. Tracy says she is taking steps to make sure nothing happens to harm this family again. Michael says so is he, and he's sending Daisy away to keep her safe. He's about to lose his daughter. At the hospital, Drew arrives, having gotten a frantic message from Willow. She cries to him about Michael having the hearing delayed. Drew tells her not to worry, soon they'll have everything they need to take the kids away from Michael for good. On the next General Hospital, Drew promises Willow that Hay will give Michael a taste of his own medicine. Nina tells Sasha that she's the reason Daisy is in danger. Michael wonders, what's stopping me from leaving with Sasha and taking my kids? Stella tells Curtis that she has a beef with him. Portia smashes a photo in her office and screams. Tracy has a request to make of Jason. Next update, General Hospital spoilers Wednesday, July 16th. Drew gives Michael taste of own medicine. Nina takes blame for Daisy danger. General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, July 16th, reveal that Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, will plan to give Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, a taste of his own medicine while Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, takes the blame for the Daisy Gilmore, Levi Clark Coughlin danger. Sasha Gilmore Corbin, Sophia Matson, just admitted to Nina that she's leaving town with Daisy, so she'll elaborate on that in Wednesday's GH episode. After Sasha talks about all the baby-related incidents, Nina will insist she's the reason that sweet Daisy is in this dangerous situation. Since there are suspicions about all this being connected to Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, Nina may think she should have done more to protect her loved ones from all her ex's mob drama. Of course, Sasha won't hold Nina responsible for anything as they continue their farewell conversation. As for Michael, he'll decide maybe he should just pack up the kids and go. What's to stop Michael from leaving with Sasha, Daisy, Wiley Corinthos, Byron Weaver, and Amelia Corinthos, Sequoia, and Serenity Mork-Mako? Tracy Quartermaine, Jane Elliott, won't like the sound of that, so she'll turn to Jason with a request later. If Michael is still considering leaving Port Charles with the children at that point, Tracy may push Jason to talk him out of it. Next, Drew will assure Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, that they're going to give Michael a taste of his own medicine, so he'll spell out his plan to make that happen. Once Stella Henry, Vernee Watson, tracks down Curtis Ashford, Donnell Turner, she'll admit she's got a beef with him. This may be related to the problems in Curtis and Portia's Brooke Kerr marriage, since Stella is hoping they can work things out. Regardless, Curtis won't offer up any details on his crumbling relationship and the nightmare that Drew's been unleashing. Over with Portia, she'll have a major meltdown that results in a raging scream and a smashed laptop. All the stress that Portia's under will really take a toll and come out in the form of this wild outburst. Trina Robinson's Tabiana Ali discussion with Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, should be calmer, but she'll still do some ranting about Kai Taylor's, Jens Austin Astrup, betrayal and her disappointment in him. General Hospital spoilers say Jocelyn will offer some comfort and maybe some advice after Trina's news, so stay tuned for updates on any guidance she might pass along. Next update, General Hospital Tuesday, July 15th update, Michael infuriates Willow, Sasha's news shocks Nina, Sidwell's Marco deal. General Hospital spoilers update for Tuesday, July 15th, reveals that Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, will infuriate Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, while Sasha Gilmore Corbins, Sophia Matson, news shocks Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros. Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, will also try to force Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rota, into a deal for Marco Rios, Adrian Anchondo, freedom, so there'll be a lot happening in Port Charles. First on Tuesday's GH episode, Tracy Quartermaine, Jane Elliott, will present a proposal. We'll see Tracy offer up a new idea, but those usually lead to trouble whenever Tracy's involved. Speaking of trouble, Marco has landed in some now that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, has kidnapped him for Sonny. While Marco continues to call out for help, Jason will leave him locked up and await further instructions. At the church, Sonny will have an advantage over Sidwell, who'll fume over Marco's snatching. Sidwell may toss some threats around, but Sonny will think he's holding all the cards since Marco is at his mercy. Although Sidwell may go along with Sonny's demands for Marco's sake, there's no guarantee any deal they strike will stick. Sidwell could easily retaliate once Marco walks free, so Sonny will be playing with fire. As for Lucas Jones, Van Hansis, he'll confront Jason over Marco's abduction and warn about the dangers of escalation. Since Lucas will worry about Marco or someone else getting killed, he'll insist Jason will be partly to blame if that happens. Over with Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, he'll clash with Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, and make some ominous comments about Michael. Since Michael isn't willing to compromise with Willow, Drew will promise that Michael's going to find himself miserable in the end. At the hospital, Willow will have a run-in with Michael, Sasha, and little Daisy Gilmore, Levi Clark Coughlin. The tension will really explode once Willow faces an awful shocker that could affect her chances of getting the kids back. It's possible that Willow's recent Wiley Corinthos, Byron Weaver, encounter will be used against her. Michael is determined to keep Willow from making any visitation or custody progress, so an official complaint or even a restraining order might be involved. Back with Sasha, she'll meet up with Nina and presumably offer updates on her decision to leave town with Daisy. Sasha's announcement should come as a surprise to Nina as they say their goodbyes. Of course, there could also be some talk about Willow and how far off the rails her life has gone. Even if Sasha doesn't suspect Willow is behind the strange Daisy-related incidents, could Nina develop a hunch? General Hospital spoilers say Nina will definitely have more Willow drama to contend with in the coming episodes, so stay tuned. Next update, General Hospital. Nina and Liesl Albrecht's sinister plot to take down Drew. General Hospital sees Liesl Albrecht, Kathleen Gotti, back to Port Charles soon. And she will not be happy to hear that her niece, Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, is under Drew Kane Quartermaine's, Cameron Matheson, thumb. Will these two plot against Congressman Cutthroat? We're going to talk about how Liesl might jump on board to help Nina take Drew down for good and get him away from Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen. Liesl Obrecht's return to General Hospital. Rocco, Nina, and Willow drama. So, we don't know exactly when Liesl is back, but it should be July. So, only a couple of weeks left in a month. We do know that Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thiebaud, is back on the scene this week. She was in this week's promo when Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, takes Sasha Gilmore, Sophia Matson, and baby Daisy over to the airport. He's supposed to be going along to get them settled. Jason is shocked to see someone that looks just like Britt. So, I wonder if he'll still get on the plane, or if he'll tell Sasha, "I'll meet you there later." So, we have heard rumors that Kelly Thiebaud is not playing Britt or a clone. But she's definitely at least a doppelganger of some sort. Because Jason's head whipped right around when he saw her. And that wouldn't have happened if they were just pretending that she was somebody new. So, as for Britt's darling mutter, Liesl, she's also back soon, and she has big scenes with Rocco Falceroni, Finn Francis Carr, and I'm sure other family will follow. General Hospital. Rocco meets Liesl. Young actor Finn Francis Carr said he enjoyed the scenes with her and he mentioned that Rocco dressed to impress when he goes to meet with Liesl. He's in a button-up shirt and said he even did this comb-over thing to control his curly locks. It sounds really cute. I can't wait to see it. But I do expect that after she chats with Rocco, Liesl is going to check in with other members of the family, and Nina and her daughter Willow are going to be on Dr. O's must-see list when she's back to Port Charles. Rocco emailed Liesl recently, and that's going to bring her back to town. And if you recall, for the first year of Rocco's life, he did grow up as Britt's son, Ben Westbourne. He was Liesl's grandson, kind of fake grandson. But she loved Rocco nonetheless. So, I'm sure Liesl is going to be more than happy to come back to Port Charles and tell Rocco whatever he wants to know about her daughter Britt, Nina's predicament, and Liesl's potential intervention against Drew. Aside from seeing Rocco, of course, Liesl will be ecstatic to see her niece Nina. She can't see Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storms, unless they use the replacement actress. Because Kirsten Storms is off, as we leaked. But I don't think Liesl will be happy to see the state of her niece or her great-niece Willow's life at the moment. And of course, Nina is going to be thrilled to have her Aunt Liesl back. Because she loves her. But also, Nina doesn't have that many people in her corner right now. And fewer still that she can actually tell what she's done and the situation she's gotten herself into because of her actions. But she can totally open up to Liesl. General Hospital. Drew makes more threats. So this week, I expect we could see Drew making more threats against Nina. Because he knows she was in with Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, on the ketamine plan. Drew's been blackmailing and controlling Nina for a while now, and she can't escape his threats. And Nina is always on the edge of losing Willow at any moment. Because of Drew. So having Liesl back may be a big comfort to Nina. Because she'll have Liesl's support and somebody to talk about everything she's going through with Drew. And on top of that, we all know Liesl is ruthless. And I don't think she's going to be happy to hear Drew is blackmailing her niece and making her life miserable. Nina may get Dr. O to see what an evil rat bastard that Drew is and convince her that they need to get Willow away from him. I highly doubt that Liesl will be pro-Drew despite her history with the ex-Navy SEAL, which is positive. Liesl is extremely protective of her family. And right now, Drew's got control over Willow and basically control over Nina, and he's messing with her peace of mind. He has dismantled Willow's life. Because he has a fixation on her. That's the bottom line. Liesl's ruthless past and potential schemes against Drew. And if you don't remember though, Drew actually saved Liesl's life back when they first cast Cameron Matheson in the role, and Drew was being held captive and under the control of Peter August, Wes Ramsey, with Victor Cassadine, Charles Shaughnessy, also involved at that compound. If you remember, Liesl was also being held captive, and she actually tended to some of Drew's injuries. That was back in 2021. Victor was obsessed with her, and Drew managed to get Liesl out of there, where he saved her. But I don't think that past heroics will buy Drew too much sympathy from Liesl considering how far off the rails he's gone since then. Drew might want to remember that this is the same woman who abducted supervillain Peter August, held him captive in a cabin in the woods. Dr. O was torturing him, and then she tried to burn him to death, setting the place on fire. Because he played a part in her son Nathan West's, Ryan Pavey, death. Because he called Faison in, and he shot their son. So while Liesl no doubt appreciates Drew saving her from Peter and Victor, I don't see Liesl letting Drew get away with blackmailing Nina and manipulating Willow. And if you recall, Liesl was thrilled to find out Willow's her great-niece. She donated bone marrow to save Willow's life when she was dying of leukemia. And, in fact, Drew was the one who saved Liesl and brought her back from Greece, so she could save Willow. So Liesl's going to be shocked and disappointed to see that Drew has gotten so far away from the decent man he used to be. General Hospital. Liesl leaps into action? I can definitely see Liesl leaping into action, helping Nina take Drew down to protect her and Willow and the kids, Wiley Quartermain Corinthos, Byron Weaver, and Amelia Grace Corinthos, Sequoia and Serenity Mork Mako. So, I can totally see Liesl saying, enough of this. Drew's lost his way. He needs to be put out of their families' lives. Put down, maybe. I bet it wouldn't take much for Nina to convince Liesl to help her take care of that slime bag. And together, Nina and Albrecht could cook up a scheme to get rid of Drew, or to at least convince Willow that he needs to go. That's the very minimum if they can't just wholesale get rid of him. And, of course, Nina is not going to want to kill Drew. But Liesl might, But she's also a kooky and brilliant doctor. Nina has a bottomless bank account, so they could do some serious conspiring between the two of them. I'm sure they can figure out a way to get Drew away from Willow and hopefully out of town. I think it'd be great if they could throw him back in that cell in Greece where Victor and Peter had him for a couple of years. Mind control experiments and potential twists with Hank Dalton. Who knows? Maybe Liesl can get her hands on that tarot card that activates Drew's conditioning and, controls him. And we have heard from a leaker, so I'm going to take it with a grain of salt that Albrecht is working with Hank Dalton, Daniel Goddard, on his dodgy mind control science experiments. If you remember on General Hospital this week, Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, told Dalton that their mutual friend wasn't happy with the slow progress he's making. And Sidwell said they're sending a courier. So, I wonder if the Brit lookalike is the courier and maybe Liesl is their mutual friend. We'll see. But this was a leak, not a spoiler, about Albrecht and Dalton. So, this leaker's been pretty correct on other things like Jonathan Jackson's exit, Kirsten Storm's temporary exit, Sophia Matson's coming exit. So we'll see if Dr. O has more than one reason to come to town, Rocco and Dalton, and then more reasons to stick around, including Nina and Willow, and the big fat problem with Drew. And if Dalton really is doing mind control experiments, maybe they can experiment on Drew. General Hospital. Will Drew be stopped? It'd be awesome if Liesl could, brainwash Drew and say, dump Willow, resign from Congress and move to, Nova Scotia or somewhere, and never come back. That would be great. The mayor might even give Liesl a reward if she made that happen. It would be a huge community service. I cannot wait to see Rocco and Dr. Albrecht. I can't wait to see Kathleen Gotti back. And I especially can't wait to see Liesl's reaction when she finds out Drew has taken over Willow's life like a psycho and is trying to ruin Nina's life as well. Next update. Laura Wright gets candid on Carly Roll and family life. Maurice Bernard welcomed a fellow General Hospital co-star on his State of Mind podcast this weekend, none other than Laura Wright, who plays Carly Spencer. She opened up about her early career, personal life, and the decisions that shaped her successful daytime TV journey. She nearly didn't end up on the show. Did you know that Laura Wright almost didn't take the role of Carly Spencer? In fact, she nearly turned it down. At the time, she was still playing Cassie Winslow on Guiding Light, and the idea of moving across the country made her hesitate. There were also contract issues with CBS, leaving her unsure about committing to GH. On the State of Mind podcast, she explained that she initially declined the role. However, a call from executive producer Jill Farron Phelps changed everything. Wright recalled Jill saying, "I'm not letting you turn this down," and encouraged her to try something new. That conversation became the push she needed. Humble beginnings. Maurice Bernard and Laura also discussed her early years, long before she became a Port Charles icon. Wright worked 4 jobs at one point. Like many struggling actors, She took on shifts at a gas station and even a tanning salon. It wasn't an easy time, she admitted. I didn't know how I was going to make it, but I just kept going. The gas station was run by her dad, who didn't want her waiting tables. But she always wanted to pursue theater and loved studying it in school. She added, I sold pretzels at RFK Stadium, before taking up work with Jane's Information Group, where she sold books over the phone. A crisis in London. Her family life came up as well. Laura shared how her daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes while they were in London. It seemed terrifying, but fortunately, it worked out because Finola Hughes came to the rescue. My daughter was on vacation in London and was really struggling, Wright recalled. I could tell something was wrong. She had been there for weeks, and when I saw her, she looked so thin. She just kept saying, I don't know what's going on. Luckily, Finola Hughes was in London, and there, her brother and sister-in-law both worked as doctors. Laura reached out, and Finola, whose flight had just been cancelled, sprang into action. After hearing the symptoms, Finola's sister-in-law urgently advised, get her to an emergency room right now. It's diabetes. At the hospital, heat stroke patients filled the wards, and Laura's daughter was initially turned away as non-urgent. But once tested elsewhere, her blood sugar was off the charts, leading to an immediate diagnosis and life-saving insulin treatment. Thank God for Finola, Wright said. Laura's other project. The conversation also touched on Laura's current project, Sacred Space. It's a Zoom-based series where people gather for raw, honest discussions. She described it as a way to foster connection and find peace in an often overwhelming world. Maurice Bernard said to her, take me on a spiritual journey. The real-life Sunny Corinthos noted that she's helping a lot of people. Of course, he was talking about Sacred Space. If you don't know, Laura takes it very seriously. She explained, I'm doing a lot of work on this right now. I've been really thinking about what is a sacred space for me. I really want to take Sacred Space on the road because I love being with people in a room. I think that's where things really happen. Laura Wright told Maurice Bernard that while the Zooms are great, she's given thought to how she might do spaces in real life. She doesn't want to stand on a stage somewhere and tell someone I'm going to change their lives. In time, if she takes it on the road, she might be able to help people find a way to change their lives. So stay tuned for more about that. Next update, General Hospital spoilers. Is Victor Cassadine alive? Dalton's mystery boss revealed? General Hospital spoilers hint that Victor Cassadine, Charles Shaughnessy, could be alive and serving as Professor Henry Hank Dalton's, Daniel Goddard, mystery boss. Let's talk about some important clues that could point to a major Cassadine comeback. In the July 14th episode, Professor Dalton secretly met with Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, who warned that their mutual friend was growing impatient. Sidwell has also invested in Dalton's work, so he's just as displeased over the lack of progress. However, the way Sidwell was talking implied there's a bigger mystery boss at the center of all this. Sidwell indicated that he would be sending a courier to get some answers and added that there'd be hell to pay if Dalton couldn't offer any. The person running the show here is obviously a male character and someone to be feared. Victor would check both of those boxes, so maybe we should consider the possibility that his grim fate didn't stick. Although GH fans saw Victor's dead body after all the chaos in Greenland, it could have been a fake out. Maybe a realistic mask was involved, or perhaps a clone, since there have been hints about Professor Dalton's storyline having something to do with cloning. Regardless, Victor may have survived somehow and could be gearing up for a new story arc. Is Victor the impatient mutual friend that Sidwell was referring to? The timing seems right considering how obsessed Victor was with Liesl Albrecht, Kathleen Gotti, who's on her way back to the show along with Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thiebaud. That is if Thiebaud's character turns out to be the real deal. Of course, we can't ignore Sidwell's interest in the Cassadines either. Sidwell planted himself at Windermere and stirred up all that dagger drama for Alexis Davis, Nancy Legrand as well, so it just seems like he might have some sort of Cassadine connection. Whatever the case, GH writers are laying the groundwork for a big reveal. There's clearly a male villain who's about to enter the picture, and it could be someone familiar to fans since the show's being so cryptic. Do you think Professor Dalton is working for Victor Cassadine? Is Sidwell helping Victor put some fear in Dalton and try to get some results on his top-secret project? General Hospital spoilers say Dalton has more problems ahead no matter what, so stay tuned for updates on all the shocking news and major setbacks. Next update, Laura Wright admits, "I drove our costume designer at General Hospital crazy." When it comes to bringing the soaps to our screens each day, it takes a lot of people to make that happen. Everyone from the writers, directors, and producers, and of course the stars and those working in the hair, makeup, and wardrobe departments. A General Hospital actress recently admitted that she hasn't always been receptive of one piece of clothing, which in turn drove someone on set a little crazy. Laura Wright, Carly, posted 2 photos that not only showed off her gorgeous curls, but a cute shirt. "Curls and collars were never my thing. Not sure why. I know I drove Sean, our costume designer at GH, crazy, but lately that's changed. I'm obsessed with this beautiful button-down. It's so perfect for the beach." While her former castmate Vanessa Marcil, ex-Brenda, commented, "Same babe," the young and the restless alum Alicia Coppola, ex-DR Meredith Gates, added, "Best hair in the biz." And if you're obsessed with Wright's curls, not too long ago she gave away her secret weapon and shared, "Me and my curls, #1 topic I get questions about. Some days they're fun and perfect, and other days they are a frizzy mess. But I love them. I use Garnier USA Curl Cream for those asking." And in another pic, curls and all, Wright thanked everyone for the love in regards to her Daytime Emmy nomination in the Outstanding Lead Actress category and shared, "Shining bright and feeling so much love today. Thank you all for the congratulatory messages. Your love and support means so much to me. It's such a fun ride. I'm honored to stand next to the incredible women in this category and so grateful to be a part of the daytime world." To which her longtime boyfriend Wes Ramsey, ex-Peter, replied, "Well earned, my darling. So happy for you." If you haven't seen it, here's the complete list of 2025 Daytime Emmy nominees, and we'll see you, Laura and her curls, in October for the genre's biggest night. Next update, 7 things to know about General Hospital's Adrienne Anchondo. Check out 7 interest facts about Adrienne Anchondo. Adrienne Anchondo has been in the thick of things on General Hospital since debuting as Marco Rios, son of mobster Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rota, and the late Natalia Ramirez, Eva LaRue, new attorney at Miller and Davis, and paramour of Lucas Jones, Van Hansis. 7 things to know. Although the Los Angeles native is a newcomer to soaps, he has some significant primetime credits under his belt. He recurred as Hector Suarez on Rebel in 2017 and has also made appearances on The Rookie, Law and Order, Organized Crime, and How to Get Away with Murder, working opposite the series star, Viola Davis, on the latter. Want to know more about the actor? Here are 7 things to know about Adrienne Anchondo. 1. Anchondo's late mother was a big daytime fan who regularly tuned into both GH and The Young and the Restless. As a child, he remembers her sitting on the couch and putting on her makeup in a compact so she could watch the 2 soaps while getting ready for work. 2. It's possible that his mom's compact may have played a part in Anchondo landing the role of Marco. He tucked it in his pocket and brought it along to his GH screen test as a good luck charm of sorts. Apparently, it worked because he got the job. 3. Did you know that he knew his GH love interest, Van Hansen, long before they started working together on the soap? According to Anchondo, the pair first met some 20 years ago at the Williamstown Theater Festival. "I think we did a play with each other," he revealed in an interview with TV Insider. "It's funny because I remember having a little crush on him back then, and we've been in the same circles because we have mutual friends." 4. Anchondo and his friend, Reggie White, created Drunken Love, a parody of Beyoncé's Drunken Love, in 2014. Since then, he's created other music parodies like Please Go Home, a hilarious take on Sam Smith's Stay With Me that stars Danny Franzese. Anchondo writes, directs, produces, edits, and performs in all of his videos. 5. He's a man of many talents. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education and a Master of Arts in Marriage and Family Therapy. "I'm also a professional actor, a comedy writer, a director, a bartender, a soon-to-be children's book author, and, most importantly, I am a kind and giving person," he shared on his Facebook page. "I'm proud of myself for getting here, after all I've been through. I'm proud of myself for making people in need more important than my wants. 6. He's a devoted dad to his dog, Machi. Anchondo has posted numerous photos of himself and his canine bestie on Instagram along with an adorable video of their father and son love fest, which you can watch here. 7. In addition to his television work, Anchondo has also appeared in several films. In 2019, he played Johnny Dakota in Medias Res. The following year, he was cast as Riley in the 2020 movie After. Next update. Here's why Willow must be hypnotized by Drew on July 15th. General Hospital. Tarot cards, anyone? After Michael dropped the latest bombshell on his ex-wife, Willow proved she must be hypnotized by Drew during the July 15th, 2025 episode of General Hospital. Hypnotized, so mesmerized. Willow, Caitlin McMullen, hasn't done anything short of spiraling since Michael, Rory Gibson, was granted full custody of the kids. Not only did she almost immediately agree to marry Drew, Cameron Matheson, but she declared she's going to give Michael a taste of his own medicine by stalking Daisy. But after running into Michael, Daisy, and Sasha, Sophia Matson, at GH, Willow acted worse than ever before. When Michael informed her that he contacted the court and got the hearing moved to October, Willow immediately threw insults his way as she played the victim. She assured him she's marrying Drew and warned Sasha that Michael will take Daisy from her the same way he took Wiley, Byron Weaver, and Amelia from her. Willow's behavior isn't just narcissistic, it's a downright 180 from the person she used to be. As Willow ran into Drew's arms to cry about not seeing her kids for the next 3 months, it just nearly proved the hold Drew has over her. Treat your enemies' children well. Kids were a big topic across Port Charles today, not just with Michael and Willow, but with Sonny, Maurice Bernard, and Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda. Sonny finally put Sidwell in his place, ordering him to end all support of Measure C in exchange for Marco's, Adrian Anchondo, freedom. Of course, the growing mob war didn't stop Lucas Van Hansis from threatening to take Sonny down if he didn't bring Marco home safe and sound. Do you think Willow will go to drastic measures to retaliate against Michael? Let us know in the comments section. Next update, General Hospital spoilers. Monica's long-lost sister rocks Port Charles. Erica Slezak's new character revealed. General Hospital spoilers hint that Monica Quartermain's, Liesl Charlson long-lost sister may rock Port Charles. Has Erica Slezak's new character been revealed? When the news broke about Slezak joining GH and making a fall debut, the show was careful to keep her role under wraps. Fans were left wondering if Slezak might reprise the part of One Life to Live's Victoria Vicky Lord Buchanan, or if she'd be playing someone completely new instead. There's no confirmation on her character just yet, but Daytime Confidential's insider report points to Erica Slezak portraying Monica's long-lost sister. It certainly looks like Monica's surprise sis could come blowing into Port Charles and throw the Quartermains, especially Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, for a loop. Since Liesl Charlson passed away back in January, the show will eventually give Monica a fatal exit, memorial, and proper goodbye. Of course, that'd be a good time for a long-lost sister to suddenly appear. This sister may show up wanting a piece of the Quartermain pie that Monica leaves behind. Regardless, Slezak's character could turn into a new sparring partner for Tracy and shake things up. We might see Monica's long-lost sister cause a dispute over her will and launch another round of typical Quartermain chaos. Viewers are eager to see Liesl Charlson and her beloved character get the send-off she deserves. It's taking a little time for Monica's farewell episodes to hit the screen, but they're sure to be emotional and deliver a wonderful tribute. From there, perhaps the show can use Monica's demise to jumpstart some new fall drama. That's exactly what'll happen if Slezak is playing Monica's long-lost sister, like sources are claiming. Are you looking forward to Erica Slezak's debut? How do you feel about Monica potentially getting an unexpected relative who throws the Quartermain clan into turmoil? No matter how it all goes down, some twists and turns are brewing in Slezak's upcoming arc. We'll pass along updates as Slezak's first air date gets closer, so stick with us for all the latest character details. General Hospital spoilers say the QS should have more problems to contend with by the time autumn rolls around. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.